Okay, so, we're always getting these source materials to dig through for the show.
Hmm.
And this one really stood out this week. I gotta say, AI,
Yeah.
like it feels like it's everywhere you turn these days, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm fascinated and kind of terrified at the same time.
I'm right there with you. It's like every day there's a new headline about some amazing AI breakthrough.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then you read a little deeper and you're like, wait a minute. Could this thing actually take over the world?
That is the question, isn't it? I mean, are we talking utopia or dystopia here?
Right. Like, is this going to be the best thing or the worst thing to ever happen to humanity?
So that's kind of the mission for our deep dive today, right?
Yeah.
To sort through all this and try to figure out what's what. We've got excerpts from this book called AI, Miracle or Menace, the Past, Present, and Future.
Catchy title.
Yeah, right. And then, get this, we also got a podcast script
Oh, wow.
with almost the exact same title. AI, Miracle or Menace, the Past, Present, and Future of Artificial Intelligence. So either great minds think alike or...
Someone's not being very original.
Exactly. But hey, it works. So to help us untangle all of this, we've got someone who knows a thing or two about algorithms.
Well, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
You've got a bona fide AI expert here.
That's right. So let's jump in, shall we? Both of these sources kind of start in the same place, actually. The 1950s with Alan Turing and his famous question, can machines think?
Yeah, that's sort of the genesis of the whole field, isn't it? Like, that question really got the ball rolling.
It did, but I got to say, it almost seems a little outdated now, don't you think? I mean, like, look around, we're surrounded by machines that are doing things we never thought they could do.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that the real heart of Turing's question goes deeper than just, can a machine perform a task? He was really getting at the nature of intelligence itself. Can a machine truly think like a human? Can it feel emotions, have subjective experiences, all that kind of stuff?
Right. I mean, like, are we talking about consciousness here or just really good programming?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a debate that's still raging today, even as AI gets more and more powerful.
Speaking of powerful, the book mentions Deep Blue beating Garry Kasparov in chess back in '97.
Oh, yeah, that was a huge deal.
I remember everyone was talking about it. Like, was that kind of a wake-up call for the world?
I think so. It was like this moment where AI went from this, theoretical concept to something real and tangible and kind of scary.
Yeah, totally. Because suddenly it's like, oh, wait a minute, these things can actually outsmart us at our own game.
Exactly. And it really kicked off this explosion of research and investment in AI.
It's interesting, though, because while everyone was focused on Deep Blue, both sources actually point out that India was already using AI in some pretty surprising ways.
Really?
Yeah, like in defense and space exploration through these organizations, ISRO and DRDO.
Okay, so those are like India's NASA and DARPA.
Basically, yeah.
So what were they doing with AI back then?
Well, it seems like they were taking this very practical approach. So ISRO was using AI for things like satellite navigation and crunching all this data from their space missions.
That makes sense. I mean, space exploration generates tons of data.
Right, and then DRDO was using AI for like surveillance and missile guidance and stuff.
So it sounds like India was really focused on using AI to solve real-world problems even back then.
Yeah, it seems like they were ahead of the curve in a lot of ways.
Huh. Interesting. So we've talked about the past a little bit, but I think the present is where things really start to get, I don't know, mind-blowing, terrifying, all of the above.
Yeah, I mean, you see AI creating art writing, poetry, diagnosing diseases, even composing music like ChatGPT.
It's crazy, isn't it? And we're just scratching the surface. It feels like every day there's something new.
But then on the flip side, you've got the job losses, the deepfakes, the potential for bias and discrimination.
Right. The ethical concerns are huge.
Yeah, so it's like this double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Amazing potential, but also these really serious risks.
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
Well, let's try to unpack it. I mean, both sources talk about the potential for AI to do good, like a lot of good.
Oh, yeah. Like solving some of humanity's biggest problems. Curing diseases, ending poverty, creating a more sustainable future,
Right. Like one of the examples that really stuck with me was this story about Indian farmers using AI to predict crop yields.
I read about that too. Isn't it amazing? Like they're using AI to figure out the best time to plant, when to irrigate, how to maximize their harvests.
Yeah. And Microsoft is even involved with this initiative called AI for Earth, which is helping farmers all over the world.
So AI is literally helping to put food on the table.
It is. But then, there's the other side of the coin.
The not so rosy side.
Exactly. And one of the things that really hit home for me was the whole issue of job displacement.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Like, the podcast script mentions this example of Tata Consultancy Services replacing 15% of their workforce with AI.
Whoa, that's a lot of people.
It is, and it's not just them, right? Like, this is happening across industries.
So how do we prepare for a future where AI is doing more and more of the jobs that humans used to do?
Right. That's the million-dollar question.
I think it's going to require some major shifts in how we think about education and job training.
Like, upskilling and reskilling people.
Exactly. We need to help people adapt to this new reality.
Okay, so we've got job losses,
Mhm.
and then there's the whole issue of deepfakes.
Yeah, those are scary.
Like these videos that look so real you can't even tell they're fake. The sources mention some examples like fake Modi speeches and even a viral video of Rashmika Mandanna.
Right, like doing things she never actually did.
Exactly, and it's like, how can you even trust anything you see or hear anymore?
It really undermines our sense of reality, doesn't it?
It does. And the sources say this is only going to get worse as the technology gets more sophisticated.
So we need to be thinking about ways to detect deepfakes and also educate people about how to spot them.
Yeah, like media literacy is going to be more important than ever.
Totally agreed. Okay, so we've talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly. But where does all this lead? What kind of future are we looking at here?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And the sources kind of present these two contrasting visions. One is like this utopia where AI solves all our problems.
Like a technological paradise.
Right. And then the other vision is more like a dystopia where AI takes control, manipulates us, or even leads to conflict and war.
Okay, so best case scenario, worst case scenario.
Exactly.
And the truth is probably somewhere in between, right?
Yeah, I mean, the future isn't set in stone.
It all depends on the choices we make.
Right, like how we develop and regulate AI and what kind of ethical frameworks we put in place.
And the sources actually point to India's experience with Aadhaar and UPI as potential case studies.
Well, yeah, those are those big digital initiatives in India.
Right. And while they've had their controversies, they also offer some insights into how India is approaching issues like privacy and security and inclusion in the digital realm.
So maybe there's something we could learn from that.
Potentially, yeah. It's like India is kind of a testing ground for how to implement these technologies on a massive scale.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
But if you had to boil it all down, what are the key takeaways you want our listener to walk away with?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that AI is incredibly powerful. And it's not going away. It's already changing the world. And it's only going to have a bigger impact in the years to come.
So we need to be paying attention.
Absolutely. We need to be informed, engaged, and proactive in shaping the future of AI.
Because it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we use it and what kind of world we want to create with it.
Exactly. It's about our values, our ethics, and our vision for the future.
And that's something we all need to be thinking about.
For sure.
So to our listener, we leave you with this. What role do you want AI to play in your life and in the world? And what can you do to make sure its development aligns with your values?
Because ultimately, the future of AI is in our hands.
It is. And it's up to us to make sure it's a future we can all be proud of.
Well,
So until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep exploring the amazing and sometimes terrifying world of AI.
and stay curious.
Always stay curious.